Hi again, everyone. This is session 4 of generating figures or conjuring figures uh, in a lyrical abstract format. Now, if you have a look at this painting, this is a continuation of the number 3 video. You can see that I've turned it into its horizontal format. Why have I done that? Well, this main figure was very imposing, and it looked like a Matisse or a Picasso odalisque, really commanding the pretty much 90% of the picture plane. Now, that's not what I want. That is not my voice. That's Picasso's voice and Matisse's voice. I need to find my own voice. So that's why I've turned it upside down, not upside down, sideways. And it's lessened the authority of that first image, the primary image. It's still there, but it doesn't have the power, and it now enables me to to stop working the image as such and start to work the shapes in the hope that I will discover an image that is more to do with me and that resonates for me at a personal level. So here, it's starting to read more like landscape with these horizontals here. And we're starting to get individual areas, hotspots of interesting shapes. Here it's the hand. By the way, I put the thumb on the wrong side there. It should have been on that side. So rather than work the image, what can I do? The painting itself is giving me shape, so let's start to work shape and surface, and just leave the image aside for a bit. Not going for any particular image here, just looking at the underlying structure, which is the drawing mark. By the way, it's really important to be able to draw with paint, which is what I'm doing now. But we've got this underlying structure, which was originally the head, but now it's offering some fairly different possibilities. What I don't know at this stage, but I'm just going with the idea of developing shape and leaving the image aside. This is this hand shape that I was talking about before. Just quite like what that's doing. You know, at various points in the picture, we have focal points, and obviously that's one, and here's another, and there's another up here. And initially we may not know what they are, but we recognize them. We try and bring them out a little bit, accentuate them, and then see how they operate in terms of the whole and how they relate one to the other. And that's the beginnings of starting to progress the picture to a point, to a state of resolution. So once again, reiterating, working surface, working color relationships, and working the surface or establishing the picture plane. And at the moment, we're just de-emphasizing the image. It's a 3-ball juggle. If you look at one thing at the expense of the other 2 issues, you drop the balls. You drop the 3 balls. Now remember, we talked about working the space behind the form in the earlier videos, exactly what I'm doing here. So in this case, this is the form or the positive shape, and at the moment, this is the negative space behind the form. In some ways, shapes are much less threatening than image, and it reminds me of Paul Clay's teaching that you start with points, points become a line becomes a shape, shape can then configure into a form which may or may not be three-dimensional, and then once you have form, it can develop into image. So that's a good progressive way to think about generating your shapes and forms. Now, okay, so I've got that shape. I've accentuated it. I've accentuated it. What it is and what it will become, who knows? It's not important at this stage. It's just a little milestone, a little win that I've had in that particular part of the picture. Okay, so it's interesting. This face here is not worrying me. I thought it would. So it's still an interesting part of the composition as an image, going back to image. So I might just retain that for the moment. Now what I'm trying to do here is just float the paint so it sits on the surface, so it's registering the two-dimensional quality of the working surface, the limiting conditions. If I go too close to this line, to those lines there, it's going to look like colouring in, and it will, that push-pull, that plasticity will be lost. So at the moment I'm floating it, and the picture plane is held. Okay, that two-dimensional quality is established and acknowledged. It also hopefully maintains an autonomy as mark making, so you can you can feel the mark being made and put down, and it has energy and it has life force.